At exactly 3:04 a.m. on October 26, 2025, the western skies over the Crimean Peninsula were calm, empty, and deceptively quiet. Far offshore, however, a formation of 13 AN-196 Liuti unmanned aircraft belonging to Ukraine's Special Operations Unit, Primary, glided low above the waves. They moved with deliberate silence, maintaining an average speed of 165 kilometers per hour. Their objective was unprecedented: to strike deep into the heart of Russia's western Crimean air defense structure and disable its core surveillance grid in one swift, coordinated blow. The targets were some of the most advanced systems Russia had deployed in the region, including the 96L6 long-range radar, the P-18 VHF radar, the multiband Nebo-U complex, and a BK-16 high-speed assault craft stationed in Yevpatoria harbor. This time, Ukraine was not aiming at a single node. It was attempting to blind an entire defense cluster at once. Silent approach at sea level. The UAVs skimmed just 25 to 30 meters above the ocean surface, slipping through a natural radar blind zone created by sea surface reflections. Long-range Russian surveillance systems, such as the 96L6E and 91N6E, struggled to detect anything moving that low, especially when illuminated by the chaotic clutter of the waves. At the head of the flock flew Alpha 1, the command drone responsible for sensing radar emissions, navigating by inertial systems, and coordinating the entire group through encrypted links. The remaining 12 aircraft were built for a single purpose: strategic kamikaze strikes. Each measured fewer than 3 meters in length, constructed entirely from composite materials designed to swallow radar waves, giving them a radar signature smaller than a seabird. Armed with high-explosive incendiary warheads capable of punching through reinforced concrete and igniting magnesium-based thermobaric cores, they were engineered to destroy hardened installations from the inside out. A fortress of air defenses, and the one gap within it, ahead of the Liuti formation, stretched one of the densest air defense environments in Crimea. The region was guarded by layers of interceptors, including Buk M2, Tor M2, Panzer S1, and the S-300 PMU-2 air patrols of Su-30SM fighters roamed the skies, while Orion reconnaissance drones traced the coastline. Two major long-range radars, the 96L6E and the 91N6E, provided continuous watch over the airspace in coordination with low-altitude stations like the Podlet K1. Yet even the strongest network has a flaw, and Ukraine had studied this one for months. Between the 96L6E and the Nebo-U arrays lay a narrow 30 to 50 meter wide radar shadow created by terrain curvature and sea clutter. It was a tiny gap, far too risky for manned aircraft, but perfect for small, low-flying drones. That was the gateway Ukraine chose to enter. Russia activates its electronic warfare shield. At 3:15 a.m., when the drones were just 20 kilometers from the shoreline, their GPS readings began to swing wildly. Russia had activated its Pol-21 electronic warfare system, flooding the southwestern Crimean airspace with powerful interference. Within seconds, every Liuti UAV lost access to accurate satellite navigation, and spoofed coordinates replaced real ones. Lesser drones would have drifted off course or crashed into the sea, but the AN-196s were built with layered safeguards. Each UAV immediately cut off its GPS feed and switched to inertial navigation, assisted by onboard compass readings and a preloaded three-dimensional terrain map. The formation tightened and continued forward, unfazed by the electronic storm surrounding it. Contact: the 96L6 detects the first drones. At 3:20 a.m., as the formation dipped beneath the range of coastal ridges, Alpha 1 registered a sudden spike on its ELINT panel, a pulse at 3.22 gigahertz. It was the signature of the 96L6 radar locking onto them. Alpha 1 instantly transmitted the attack command, splitting the drones into 4 coordinated strike elements. The aircraft dropped to around 20 meters above ground and accelerated into their final approach routes. Although the 96L6 had already detected 3 faint radar returns from the southwest, the Russian operators realized too late what they were facing. A nearby Pantsir S-1 battery received the alert and began tracking the incoming objects. In a matter of seconds, its fire control radar aligned for near-surface engagement, and twin 30mm cannons unleashed a storm of tracer fire across the sky. One of the drones, Liuti No. 3, was torn apart immediately and ignited in mid-air, but the remaining UAVs pressed forward, threading through the bursts with mechanical precision. Less than half a second later, Liuti No. 2 struck the massive antenna structure of the 96L6 array. The warhead detonated inside the main enclosure, shredding electronics, collapsing its frame, and triggering secondary explosions from internal modules. In a single moment, Russia's long-range surveillance eye on the western coast went completely dark. The P-18 radar falls within seconds. Just 3 seconds after the destruction of the 96L6, the second strike group completed its flanking maneuver around a small ridge and dropped toward the P-18 radar emplacement. The P-18, known for detecting stealth aircraft through VHF frequencies, sat partially concealed in a natural hollow to reduce overhead detection. However, the radar's long wavelength beams lacked the precision needed to track extremely small, non-emitting drones flying at ultra-low altitude. The Liuti aircraft approached at barely a dozen meters above the ground, relying on terrain-following data transmitted from Alpha 1. At 3:21:08 a.m., the lead drone burst through the tree line and slammed into the P-18's control cabin at full speed. The explosion penetrated the sloped roof, obliterating the operations bay. 2 more drones crashed into the generator zone and switching module seconds later, engulfing the compound in fire and smoke. In less than 4 seconds, the radar that Russia once claimed could expose stealth jets was rendered completely inoperative. The Nebo-U radar is crippled. While the first 2 strike groups tore through the primary radars, the third approached the Nebo-U complex from the sea. The system was mounted on elevated ground, which gave it an excellent field of view, but also left it vulnerable to attacks aimed at its exposed structures. The Liuti drones skimmed across rooftops and industrial buildings before climbing for their final attack run. At 3:21:18 a.m., the first aircraft rammed into the main phased array panel, shattering its structural support. The next drone hit the repeater module behind the antenna, igniting a fierce blaze that spread through insulation and wiring. Although the last drone was shot down by Russian machine gun fire, the damage was already decisive. The Nebo-U's central components were gone, and its multiband capability collapsed instantly. The BK-16 assault craft is destroyed. While radars burned inland, the 4th Strike Group slipped into the harbor's restricted defense zone, where a BK-16 patrol craft sat moored and ready. Designed for rapid coastal defense and counter-drone missions, the vessel depended on its optical systems to identify threats. But the 2 approaching Liuti drones were flying too low and too fast for any human operator to react. At 3:22 a.m., the first drone slammed into the ship's control cabin. The second struck moments later, tearing into the engine compartment. The blasts ignited fuel tanks along the hull, producing a chain of violent explosions that transformed the craft into a burning wreck. Flames spread across the water, creating an eerie reflection beneath the night sky. A region turns blind. By 3:30 a.m., the results were undeniable. The 96L6 radar was destroyed beyond recovery. The P-18 was nothing more than a heap of scorched machinery. The Nebo-U's central antenna and repeater were gone. The BK-16 lay engulfed in fire. Within a radius of 10 kilometers around Yevpatoria, the entire air defense surveillance grid had effectively collapsed. For the first time in years, Western Crimea experienced a complete radar blackout lasting several hours. Russia scrambled to activate reserve radars in Jankoy and Sevastopol, but full coverage could not be restored quickly enough. Aftermath and shockwaves. By 3:40 a.m., Ukrainian reconnaissance satellites confirmed the destruction through infrared imagery, and the General Staff received a full attack. Summary: official Ukrainian channels remained silent until the operation was fully verified. Meanwhile, internal Russian military communications surged Orlan-10 UAVs were dispatched to survey the damage. Emergency crews attempted to salvage equipment and establish temporary observation points. Off the record, Western intelligence sources later described the Russian reaction as deeply concerned. The simultaneous loss of 3 major radar systems exposed a vulnerability in what Moscow had claimed was an impenetrable integrated air defense network. Hours later, Ukrainian channels released satellite photographs, drone footage, and 3D reconstructions of the strikes. The Ministry of Defense declared that the Western Crimean surveillance sector had been neutralized and that the path to the Black Sea was open. According to multiple reports, Russian teams were still searching for debris long after Ukrainian forces had already prepared the next phase of their campaign. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most precise UAV operations of the war, make sure you hit the like, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next one.